Welcome, everybody. I'm Keller Coker, the Dean of the School of Jazz and Contemporary Music, and I'm thrilled to see you all here and thrilled to be here with all of you. So, welcome to parents, welcome to the faculty who are here, staff, friends of the graduates, and most importantly, welcome to the 2018 graduating class. All right. So days like this, they're always interesting to try to sort out what exactly is this? Is something ending? Is it beginning? But I think as you've done every day that you've been here, this is just the first day of the next phase of everything that you'll do tomorrow and the following day. You've been here reinventing yourself with each time you've passed through the doors to make music and work with one another and create. You've developed yourself from your very first day when you started attending class, started heading into that core curriculum, ear training and theory and performance and vocal performance, all of these guided ways to help you develop your skill sets. And the truth is, and you know this, you've done most of it on your own, with your own time, with your own spirit, and guiding yourself forward as artists. As you've been developing both within the community here at the school, but also in the city, in this great city. And the music that you've been making has been changing the world, whether you've been doing it here or when you've headed home, when you've headed out on the road, as many of you do, and when you've headed out to represent the school as well. And this group of people that you're sitting with right now is your cohort. This is your cohort for the rest of your lives. These are the people you will look up a year from now, you'll look up 5 years from now, 30 years from now, and I promise you, you'll still be working with these people. And beyond that, because you've come here and joined a community, you know the community is larger. You've got all of the people who were here before you, and all of the people who will follow in your footsteps. It's been a really remarkable year. A year of change, a year of great accomplishments. You probably noticed that 102 new students showed up in September to join you. The practice rooms were full, right? The halls were full of new people. And you welcomed this new group of students into this community in the most beautiful way. And as the people who are just following you will welcome in next year's students. We also welcomed some stellar new faculty that, and I know several of you came to me angry, like why haven't they been on the faculty sooner? Why weren't they here before? But some really incredible people, and you welcome them into the community as well. Ingrid Jensen, Linda O, Mary Halverson, Chris Davis, really, really incredible musicians. Sarah Elizabeth Charles, and again, with what you do and with these people coming here and joining us, our community gets bigger and bigger and stronger and more musical with each change and with each day. There were some big moments. The year started off, and I mean, selfishly, I just had to mention this because it was maybe the most fun I've had all year. So the year really started in August when, in working with the Charlie Parker Jazz Festival, we put a show on this stage of a Bird with Strings concert. And A couple of you who are graduating today were part of that. Adam Breyer and Mike Sheelar were playing in the rhythm section, and they played so beautifully. It was an absolute glorious night. And it was really my first opportunity to make music with you. And so I thank the two of you for that. And of course, I thank Dave Glasser for playing the role so beautifully of Charlie Parker that night. We kicked off the New School Studio Orchestra, had 3 great concerts over the year. I have to say that concert with Ingrid and Christine Jensen was absolutely amazing. The music that came as a result of that, blew me away. And again, another proud moment with all of you working with faculty and playing Christine Jensen's music. It was fantastic. We solidified our relationship with the Grammy Museum, and during Grammy Week, which the Grammys haven't been in New York for 16 years, and even then it was a shared Grammy with the West Coast. And all of a sudden, the Grammys had a new friend in New York, and it was us. And again, we welcomed them into our community, and we put on that event, the Take Me to the River event that Aaron Campbell helped put together. And this again was such a special time. We had students, faculty, and these legendary soul musicians all on stage together making music, and when we left and spoke to the Grammy folks, they were nothing but filled with hugs and love for the New School, which they consider to be their New York home now. And so thank you for that. We took over. I say that maybe with too aggressive of terms, but we took over Unsilent Film Night for one of the shows this year. And again, we brought in Mark Rebo and Chris Davis and Reggie Workman and Andrew Cyril, and they put groups together with students and accompanied silent film. And those moments when Andrew and Reggie were playing, and Asaf Evan-Zur was every time Superman came on the screen in those Superman cartoons, and he started playing the Superman theme that they had come up with, that they had improvised. It ran chills down everyone's back. It was there was just a little bit of Coltrane in the room, and amazing. The big moments are easy to spot, but really it's what happens every single day. It's that work that you do every single day, and the music that happens across the school when you get off the elevator on the 5th floor or the 6th floor and start wandering the halls and hear what's going on. And then, as many of you know, I'm in the halls often and peeking in the practice rooms to see what's going on, because I hear so much. That's happening. And I have to say, Alon Benjamini has squeezed a drum set into every single practice room possible on the 5th floor, along with the band, and it always just sounds amazing. He's swinging so hard, and that kind of artistic entrepreneurship to find a rehearsal space where there really isn't one, and right, and then make it happen, right? Like, make the music happen. The ductwork from the performance space as well, that it leads directly to my office. So I don't know if you know this, but I hear most of what goes on in that room. And when right, and when I remember just a couple of weeks ago when the Chick Corea Ensemble was warming up and Humpty Dumpty, and it was swinging so hard through that ductwork that I thought the concert was happening, and I ran down the hall to go check it out. And they were just doing their sound check. They weren't even trying yet. The things we don't necessarily even do on campus, but that happen every day within the classroom. So these incredible things that Jane Ira Bloom has done working with students, the New York Public Library Shelf Life Project, and and seeing that work happen. And again, this happens every day. You all, as performer, composer, improvisers, are the model of today's musician and tomorrow's musician. There may be other places that are doing that, but what they're not doing, and what separates you and what you've done here, is you also have proven yourself powerful advocates for yourself, advocates for change. The many visits that I've had through the year, people coming to talk to me about their concerns, what they want to have happen, what they want their school to be, what you want your school to be. Those have been the most important moments over the course of this year for me personally, because it's real. What's coming from you, and the thought and drive that you have to make this place a better place, is what will make the world a better place when you head out into it. Again, John Kuzin basically has a standing meeting with me. Those conversations have been incredibly enlightening, and Jemre and Will Brown as well. You all are beautiful people, and I appreciate so much what you bring and the trust that you put in me to come and talk to me. We've had recognition over the course of this year. Kenta Shimakawa, who is graduating, I don't know if Kenta's here, but yeah, right. Congratulations to Kenta for winning the Outstanding Original Composition Large Ensemble from Downbeat. Yeah. So here again, entrepreneurship, this kind of absolutely taking care of business. Kenta was busy mixing and getting ready, and emailed me on December 31st, the last day it could be turned in, after I had turned everything else in that people wanted submitted. And he said, "Is it okay if I just turn this in and get this in?" And it's like, of course it is. Let's go, man. And then wins the award. So congratulations. Also to Jane Ira Bloom, who I think Jane is here as well, for winning a Grammy. Yeah. All these things are awesome. This place is great. So you're all here now. I'll talk a little bit more later, but there's some other amazing people here who I'm excited for you to hear from. But just, I can't say it enough, how proud I am of you and how proud we all are of you. So our first speaker tonight is one of our esteemed faculty members. He's got a career that spans more than 60 years. He's one of the greatest bass players of all ages, of all the ages, right, of all time. His work, of course, you all know him from his work with Coltrane, Art Blakey, Wayne Shorter, Freddie Hubbard. I mean, all you have to do is go to the Wikipedia page and keep scrolling and scrolling to see all the recordings. He is also one of the hardest working human beings I've ever met. He is in the halls every day and ready to do anything that you ask. So he asked me, he said, "When do I speak?" And I said, "You speak first." So because, it's been too long that the bass solo is always the last solo. Yeah. And so he'll be on sabbatical in the fall and working on, he's been commissioned to write a work and performing around the world. He'll be back next spring. And so just so you get a dose of Reggie before he heads out on this sabbatical, please welcome Reggie Workman.
Thank you. And hello, graduating class of 2018. Listen, I may as well throw this paper away because Keller and I, it's really nice to know that our dean is on the same page as you. As he said everything that I had in mind saying. So I'll try to still follow. That's very hard to follow because we both think in the same way and saying some of the same things. Speaking for myself initially and the entire administration at COPA, and for all the professors who make up the Jazz Studies program at the New School, nothing could be more inspiring to us than having the opportunity to work with you over the past several years and travel with you through your upward journey toward earning your degree. Now, I pause after saying these things because all these things have other stories that go, every sentence has another story and another picture that goes along with it. So I pause so that your mind or so that the air can give you the picture of what I'm talking about. As of now, you are graduated as sound scientists. You are enrolled in the school called Life on Planet Earth, where every person or incident is your teacher. Heavy statement there. Hope that you see the picture. In this full-time school, there is no right and wrong, only consequences. There are no mistakes, only lessons, which may be considered as stepping stones toward your greater goals. Life has provided you the canvas, which could be called a degree, but may actually be your path or your paintbrush and colors for the rest of your life. The joyous part of your painting begins now as you venture onward, working to make your presence and your gift felt across the globe. You will open doors for those new voices, as was said. Those voices will acknowledge your stepping stones as they explore the path similar to your own. So you are the one who takes our place, and you will open the doors for everyone who's coming behind you. They will revere you. They will work with you as you have worked with us. And we're happy that we know that job is well done and the continuum is in place. I remind you that growing musicians, artists of my age and older realize, if there is such a thing, realize that there was little, no opportunity to engage in the formal study of the music commonly known as jazz. Consequently, a great effort was put forth by those musicians, artists, educators, philanthropists, and educators, educational institutions around the world. They worked diligently, and utilized their canvas to develop what has become the Jazz Studies program of today. And you are the recipients of all that. Through the decades, every class which graduated from the New School has given the world new and significant members. You know who they are. We hear them every day. Those members have made important contributions to the world's artistic community. I am proud that we now graduate the class of 2018, which will be as memorable as the many classes of the past years. Now, when your class is called at our major institutional university ceremony at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. I want to hear you cheering loud. I want to see your balloons and your headgear flying high in the air. I want to hear your cheers loud and spirited, just as you deserve. Congratulations, health, happiness, long life, and great music.
You have my notes? I think you've got my notes. There we go. All right. So now we come to Mike Sheeler. Yes, that's right. Composer, pianist, and above all, an explorer. He's always looking. He's always looking for what's next. He's asking questions and wants to dive in first to try what's new. Such an admirable human. Between The Bird with Strings and his work with the Joffrey Ballet School, the New York Public Library Shelf Life, and then also all the auditions that he's played and the ensembles that he's played in, recitals, including his own recital. Please welcome to the stage Mike Sheeler.
Okay. Hello, everyone. On behalf of the School of Jazz graduating class of 2018, I'd like to say thank you so much for being here today. 4 years ago, I would not at all have guessed that I'd be standing up here. In fact, I remember 4 years ago at my high school graduation, sitting and saying, thank God I'm never going to be up there speaking to my graduating class. But today I'm here surrounded by some of my closest friends, my family, and the incredible faculty here at the School of Jazz. And it's very humbling to speak here. We've all made some very special memories and some very special music over the past few years. This is the story of how I met Jack Gruber. So my freshman year here, I lived at a dorm on 15th Street called Stuyvesant Park Dorms. It's a very beautiful place. And in the basement of Stuyvesant Park, there are a few practice rooms, there are a few pianos, a floor tom, a bench. And the first night that we had all moved in, I remember it was August 15th, and there was an event going on in the basement where everybody that moved into the dorm could go and meet each other and whatnot. And there was a bunch of loud music playing. It was dark, it was hot and sweaty, and I left after about a minute. And I walked into the practice rooms, and already waiting were about 10 or 12 other jazz students. And we all just stood in a circle, kind of getting to know each other. And over the next 30 minutes or so, people were walking in and out, going to do whatever. And I was left, and I was sitting on the piano bench, and someone walked in. It was Jack. And he came up to me, didn't say anything except for oh man, what instrument do you play? So I said I played piano, and immediately he asked me if I wanted to play a tune. So I was expecting him to pull out a horn or something, but he sat down next to me on the piano bench and basically kicked me off the piano bench. And if you knew Jack, freshman year, you know what tune he wanted to play. So you know how when you put your phone away in your pocket, most people turn it off or lock it? So Jack, when I said yes, I'd play a tune, pulled out his phone, and it was already open to I Real B. And he said, yo, just walk me a bass line. And he counted it off, and Jack proceeded to shred the way that only Jack could over There Will Never Be Another You. So we finished the tune, and then Jack asked me what my name was. And I introduced myself, and he asked me what floor I lived on. So I said I lived on the 3rd floor, and he goes, "Dude, what room?" And I said, "I just moved into 3L." And he looks at me and he goes, "Me too." And that's how I met Jack Gruber. Now, we all look back at this memory and laugh because of how well we know Jack now. But this was a really important memory for me because Jack was the first person here in New York at school that I met who right away I could see was as excited about playing the piano and learning this music as I was. And it was a really amazing feeling to finally be doing what I've dreamed of doing since I started playing piano. And now I was in a community of people who were pursuing their dreams and musical aspirations as well. And I think we're all really lucky to have that and have that community. I've been inspired every single day here by all of you. I've been inspired to write, to think, to not take anything for granted, and to enjoy all the beautiful things that music has to offer, because we have a lifetime of music ahead of us to share and experience with the world. For many of us graduating today, the first few years here were only the very beginning of our careers as musicians, as composers, as engineers, activists, teachers. The possibilities of what this graduating class can accomplish are limitless. Over the past few years, I've made many friends in different institutions and universities and different music programs around the world. And I've started to notice a bit of a trend that some people are talking about. And that trend is that in many places, the public's perception of what goes on inside a school's program starts to become more important than what's actually happening at the school. I'm proud to say that during my time at the new school, we've all met some really incredible faculty members who are actively and passionately fighting this trend. Some of these people include, but absolutely are not limited to, our Dean of Jazz, Keller Coker, our amazing friend, Kyle Wilson, Jennifer Dorr, Jane Ira Bloom, Matt Wilson, Elizabeth Loninger, Chris Stover, Dave Glasser, and of course, Reggie Workman. But most importantly included in this list of people is the entire student body at the School of Jazz. They've all... Hello, Don. This graduating class, as well as all of those to follow, have begun to utilize their voice as students in very powerful ways. As a group, we've begun to raise our voices to the university, to the faculty of our school, and to the entire jazz and music community, bringing awareness to issues that have never been properly addressed or resolved. The sexism, sexualization of women in the jazz community, the unequal and sometimes discriminatory treatment of people of color in jazz community, and the lack of transparency between university and student body are a few of these issues. These issues, of course, are not at all localized to our niche community, but reflect many broader issues that are going on today. As a student body, we've taken the responsibility upon ourselves to see these issues through. The voice of our generation is now the key to bringing about the change and justice that we know is needed. The past 4 years among all of you has proved to me that just because we may be going to different schools, going to different cities, that we will continue to fight, to speak out, to act, and actively listen to those around us to affect and bring about change. We all share this responsibility. When I graduated from daycare, I was thinking the same thing. I think I was 3 years old, maybe 4. And I stood in front of my entire graduating class and I sang along to the recording of Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett singing New York, New York. And I'm not going to do it now. But from that moment on, my love for music and for this city has only grown every day. Trying to explain why we all have a love and trying to explain why we all have a love and passion for music is not at all an easy thing to do. It's different and unique to every single person in this room. But one thing that I've learned here, and I can say for certain, is that music and the arts are always going to be there for us. And going forward, our music and our art is now going to be there for others. It's a circle. I'm going to leave you all with a quote that's inspired me very much this past year. But before I share this quote, I'd just like to say thank you again to the entire graduating class of 2018, the faculty here at the School of Jazz, my family, who are the most supportive and loving people I could ever know, and everyone else here that's here to celebrate this accomplishment today. Congratulations, and this is only the beginning. And this is Martha Graham. Please remember that the arts are a mission for the salvation of the world, and that your precision and your concentration must be as deadly as if in a matter of life and death. So whatever you elect yourself to prepare for this, and whatever field you enter, you must carry your sacred purpose in your heart and feed on that in moments of anguish and peril. Thank you. For those of you that don't know, that's Jack.
All right. Our keynote speaker today, I just couldn't be happier to be standing here welcoming her to the stage. I couldn't have been happier when she answered my email within 15 minutes and said, "What's that mean to be the keynote speaker? And I think I'd like to do it." And so she also asked me to keep my introduction of her short because she's got an action-packed speech for you. And so, however, groundbreaking composer, multi-instrumentalist, multilingual vocalist, producer, dancer, Doris Duke awardee, New York Times, one of the best albums of 2017 recognition, and more accolades than I could list in the next hour. Please welcome Jen Shu.
Oh my gosh. Hi. I'm going to do something really tacky and take a picture of you all. 2018, you're so beautiful. Ah, scream. Woo! All right, there we go. So I'm very honored to be here. And when I did get the email, I thought, the new school? So that's exciting. This is my first keynote speech, so you know it's going to be good. So I'm actually I just titled this speech, All the Things I Wished Someone Told Me at My Graduation. So these are just little words of wisdom that I think you can use, very practical and useful, I hope. So I made this mnemonic, which is no fear. So if you just imagine NOFEAR coming down, I kind of created some little words of advice that come out of these letters. So let me start by unpacking no fear. So you hear this a lot. Be fearless, don't let fear stop you. It can be very vague. So I'm going to just tell some stories, a little story about this, unpacking no fear. So I actually have learned over the years that fear is a furry animal that sits on my left shoulder, and it's gender neutral, and sits on my left shoulder and kind of accompanies me wherever I go, gigs, speeches. And what I've learned about this little furry animal is that he'll never really go away. Oh, it's gender neutral. It will never really go away, but I've learned how to ignore it. And so just in this little story I'll tell you, 2 years, it was 2011. I got to go to Indonesia for 2 years on a Fulbright to study Javanese music and dance. And before I left, a friend of mine said, "Oh, you should really check out this movie. It's called Opera Jawa, and the director was Garin Nugroho." And I looked him up. He's like a big-time filmmaker in Indonesia, kind of the David Lynch of Indonesia, but more of a household name even. So I watched the film. I'm blown away. It was like the perfect confluence of tradition and innovation that I aspired to do in my music. And so I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if I met this guy and worked with him? A little fantasy, So I went off to Indonesia, one-way plane ticket, and within a month, I was able to meet all these amazing artists and one dancer who was in the film. And this dancer was so kind, and I asked him about, how could I get more films of Garin? And he said, I can just give you his number. So I texted Garin, and no response. Texted again the next day, no response. So I was a little discouraged. I thought, big movie guy, little me, it's cool. So a month later, I met a curator, and he invited me to perform in his venue in Jakarta, months down the road. And I kind of had a burst of confidence. And as you know, confidence is a superpower, as you know. So I kind of had the burst of confidence, and I texted Garin a month after this non-response, and he wrote back. So I think something was in there. And he just said, please come to my movie set tonight. I've been very busy. I'm sorry. I haven't responded. So I went and brought all my CDs that I had and gave them to him. And he gave me his email. And I wrote him that night. And I said, yes, I am working on a solo piece. And I'm looking for a director. And would you be interested? And, pretty presumptuous, but he actually replied the next day, and he said, I've listened to all your music and seen your videos. I would love to work with you. I was like freaking out. So anyway, for the next 2 years that I was there, I was able to do some little collaborations with him, and I went off to Korea for 6 months and to study traditional music there. And I got an email from Roulette offering a commission residency, $5,000. And I thought, wow, maybe this is the chance I can invite this director to direct this solo piece. Fly him out to New York, whatever. So, but then fear, my little pet fear, said, well, what if you invite him and no one comes to your gig? Like, won't that be humiliating? And I said, yes, but I invited him anyway. So, and it's interesting because up until the time I walked onto the stage, I didn't know if people other than my parents were going to be there. My parents were there. But up until I walked on the stage, the fear was there all the time. And I walked on, and it was, thankfully, lots of people came, and it was a beautiful experience. But what I learned was, this little fear can just accompany me, but I know how to ignore it. And sometimes if it calls to me and says, that's something you should be afraid of, I kind of go after it, and I think, okay, that's what I should be doing. So it can be helpful. So that's unpacking the no fear. Let's take the N. I like to say that N is for no. No is the magic word. As you are already embarking on your careers, you try and aim for as much time as possible on your own work. Like say 70% of your time and energy and devotion is spent on your work, the magic art that is not yet out there, but you're going to produce and offer to the world, which you will and are doing. So you're going to have to say no a lot. And it's really a good thing. It's a powerful thing. And we're going to go to the O. And I like to say that O is only the good things. And this is a phrase that a Japanese gardener had told me. Yes, I just take in the good things, the good music, the good friends, the good people, and the good food. And this goes for mentorship and teachers. You'll have wonderful teachers. Sometimes you won't agree with them. That's fine. You just take the good, discard the things that aren't truly you. So that's the O. And then the F, I like to say is fix it if it's broke. So the adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it's broke, fix it. So just a couple of weeks ago, a collective that I'm part of, this is just an example, a group of women and gender nonconforming musicians, we created a code of conduct because it didn't exist before. And so we just got together, worked for 7 months, and we did it. And now we're seeing how it's going to play out. So if you see something missing, if a festival's not choosing you, create and curate your own festival. You can do this. So I'm empowering you to do that. And then we've got the E, which I like to say is every job helps you. So when you venture out, again, if you're focusing 70% of your energy toward your own magical work, sometimes you'll have to pay the rent sometimes, So when I graduated from Stanford 18 years ago, I took 2 day jobs. One was as a intern and then eventually development director of a new music organization. And then another was as an assistant producer of a theater company, an experimental theater company. And these 2 jobs, grant writing, fundraising, sweeping the theater floor, managing the theater, everything I learned in those jobs actually enabled me to focus 100% on my work. So that's a good one. Every job is good. Every job can help you. And then A, which Keller mentioned about entrepreneurship, A is for entrepreneurship. You may have heard this term, entrepreneurship, but it's this mixture of entrepreneurship and artistry. And again, this is going to guide you. You're going to be creative in supporting your work in this crazy, amazing city. I have a friend who is an amazing vibraphonist, and he opened a little school in his home with his wife for kids, music school. And, these are just strategies. It's using all of your skills to support your magical work. And the last one is my favorite, the R. And I call it relish rejection. It's a really juicy one. I'm always like, bring it on, rejection. So the great thing about rejection is that it's an opportunity to grow and reflect. And just a really simple example is I applied for a grant called the Multi-Arts Production Fund grant. It's the MAP fund. And, you know, it's supporting interdisciplinary and multicultural work. I thought it'd be easy for me to get. Didn't get it, but I asked for feedback, which I encourage all of you to do. You know, just why didn't I get it? I'd love to learn. And I got to talk on the phone with them, and they said, well, two things. One, you didn't really illustrate how the practicality of your crazy 50-state tour idea, how that was going to manifest. Two, your work sample was not really indicative of the piece you were going to perform, because you wanted to create a solo piece, and your work sample was an ensemble piece. So those two very concrete things, I applied the next year, and I got it. So it can be very practical, but in terms of rejection, it's just a chance to find a new path. So no fear. We've got, well, you remember those. I think you do. So I hope you can take that home with you. And there's one last thing that I'll also leave with you. Powerful quote from my mentor, Von Freeman. Von Freeman passed away in 2012, but he let me pick his brain for many years. And I called him on the phone, and there was a time when I was in a doubtful state, kind of wondering what my path was, because I had just moved here and just finding my way. And he said, Jen, you have the answer. Learn how to translate it. And I cried, just as he said that, because it was like exactly what I needed to hear. So in your times of doubt, which are beautiful and human and healthy, just remember you have the answer and learn how to translate it. So I congratulate you all and see you around. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's please another warm round of applause for all three speakers. Thank you. Thank you to the three of you. Wonderful. Let's hear some tunes. Let's hear some music. All right. So here we have the New School for Jazz and Contemporary Music Recognition Ceremony Band. You'll carry that with you, won't you? Yes, yeah, take it on tour. But this, Zosha Warpea, Lucas Kaddish, Marcus Williams, John Kuzin, and Alon Benjamini. Come on up.
Thank you. That was a song by Brian Blade called Stoner Hill. I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In the small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you this way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. seeing you in all familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all night through. In the small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. Find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing
for them. So beautiful. And now let me present Dave Glasser, who is going to announce the honors candidates. That's right. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. How we doing? All right. All right. Well, without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to announce the honors candidates for 2018. When I announce your name, please stand up and remain standing until all the names have been announced. Ready? Okay. William Duffy. Isaac Washburn Gaines. Peyton Kirks. Jemre Nejefbash. Blake Oper. Michael Shelar. Albert Suriadi. Emiliano Trevena. And Zosha Warpea. Ladies and gentlemen, our honors candidates for 2018. Shall I do it now?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I got it now. All right. And now we get to the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to have your names called and come up and receive the folder that will someday hold your diploma. So I'd like to bring up Mike Forfia, who will read the names, and Dave and I will pass out the folders. All right.
We're going to ask that you come up this stairway, just a little bit of business here. Come up this stairway and exit this stairway. You've each got something to hand me. I understand there's big shoes to fill here. It's an honor to be reading your names at this commencement. Without further ado, would you like to get us started? Why don't you come up? Victoria Taylor Romano. Cheyenne Simon. Cassandra O'Neill. Congratulations. Bella Hasha. Congratulations. Eduardo Loro. Daniel Venz. Jemre Nimjefbash. Thank you. Torgi Gordestan. Marcus Williams. Michael Sheeler. John Kuzin. Zosha Warpea. Shavit Prince. Enrique Carnero. William Duffy. Jason Zucker. Will Brown. Peyton Kirkus. Adam Breyer. Cole Stone Frisina. Jack Gruber. Dor Kalmar. Theo Walentini. Kenta Shimikawa. Samuel Reeves. Alexander Harwood. Daniel Baumgun Kim. Lucas Kadish. Haedong Yoon. Blake Oper. Emiliano Trevina. Axel Molksvold Borgmo. Isaac Washburn Gaines. Sapir Rosenblatt. Asaf Evan Sur. Alon Benjamini. Dor Samoha. Minjing Hong. Ji Yoon Kim. Adriel Shane Vincent Brown. Christian Fox. Andreas Toftemark. Omri Nouri. Your graduating class of 2018.
All right, we're almost there. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, it's great. So, thank you to the faculty. I just want to say some thanks as we wrap things up. Will the faculty who are here please stand? Yes. Thank you. The fantastic new school faculty. Jimmy, so great. The people that show up every day thinking about how to keep the train running and make it run better every day. The folks in the jazz office who also organized this event and made this happen. Jen Dewar, Aaron Campbellat, and Phil Ballman. That you. I mean, Jen really did this, made this happen today. Also, the folks that I work with on the Dean's Council who are here, Matt Sullivan, Valerie Foyer, Julie Grube, Jennifer Holmes, Bill Gustafson, Maggie Kujar, my good friend Pippin Parker, and our fearless leader, the Executive Director of the College of Performing Arts, Richard Kessler. Thank you. Thank you. We also, very importantly, because none of you would be here without them and without their support, will all the parents please stand? Parents of the graduating class. Thank you for supporting these wonderful musicians. So remember these things. Remember that today you're finishing something. It's important, it's been difficult, and you have done it. You have flourished at this school, in this city, and in the music that you make, and you should be proud of that. It's a powerful thing that you've just finished, but it is nothing compared to what you will do next. What you'll do next is lead the way for everyone to follow, and you will teach the people who are making art now what tomorrow is going to look like. You are the future and you are the present. And I promise you that here, this will always be a home for you. Come and say hi. My door will always be open to you, and I also promise that a school is not doing its job well unless it continues to get better and make the degree that you're holding in your hands worth more each day going forward. And that, I promise you, we will do. And so, congratulations to the class of 2018. Right on. That's it. Yeah. Please come join us at the Star Foundation in the University Center for reception. Right, we'll see you all just a couple blocks away at the University Center. Thank you.